Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode on the channel. My name is Peach, so happy to be here with you guys. Hey, we have a huge episode this time around. Guys, there is a brand new update in the game. The Rosa update has officially dropped. Before we get into that, of course, I just want to give a quick shout out because I love giving shout outs on this channel to people in my community. This one goes out to Daneoplayz. Danio has a YouTube channel. He's also really active on Twitter, and he's just supported me a ton in giving me feedback and also just getting my content out there and spreading it around to the rest of the community. So Danio, thank you so much. I'm definitely gonna go ahead and make sure I have a screenshot of his YouTube channel there, and I'll put some links in the description as well. Okay guys, it's time. Oh, before that, one other thing before that, I almost forgot. The Brawl Stars official account, gotta give a quick shout out there. Thank you, Brawl Stars official account on Twitter, for giving me a follow. So stoked about that. So shout out to them, of course. And guys, okay, so now here it is. The update, the Rosa update is here. We're gonna get into the news and go into the notes. Actually, we're gonna talk about what's coming into the game, or what has officially arrived into the game. And there is so much, guys. We have about 12 more minutes to get through literally all of this. This is gonna be the most volume-packed update video on YouTube that you're gonna be able to find for this Brawl Stars update. All right, and I'm gonna have some gameplay of the new training grounds and some new Brawler gameplay off to the side that you guys will be able to watch as I'm talking through this. All right, so guys, of course, the new Brawler, Rosa, is here, and her main attack is Hands of Stone. She has the Flurry of Punches. It sounds a lot like Primo, so her super is called Strong Stuff, and she creates a tough skin of vines, preventing 80% of damage, incoming damage for 6 seconds. That is crazy, 80%? I mean, she might as well just be invincible for that amount of time, because that is absolutely insane. I could see that just being absolutely game-changing in certain scenarios, especially in matches like Showdown. And her star power, also potentially game-breaking, as some people have pointed out. Plant Life, Rosa regains health while inside bushes. Okay guys, nobody wants more camping. Now this sounds like this might be promoting camping, and it could, we'll see, but she is a pretty rogue brawler. She needs to be punching from a close distance, so she is gonna have to come out of those bushes, but we'll see. She's probably gonna be someone who chills in the bushes quite a bit. We'll see what happens there. So that's Rosa. I'm pretty stoked about her. I think she is going to be a really exciting brawler. And let's get into more of the new stuff. Of course, we already know about Bunny Penny and Shiba Nita and the new skins coming. There's been a lot of talk about that. But here's where we get into some of the new stuff that hasn't quite been talked about just yet. So in Gem Grab, we're getting some new maps and a dynamic map element. What does that mean, guys? That means moving pieces that will impact the way the game is played. So carts. In Minecart Madness, carts travel on railroads and on certain intervals, so carts can block shots, deal damage, and push back brawlers when hit. So the carts will be moving along on this track, and they can actually move you, move other brawlers. They deal damage too when you get hit, so I guess it makes sense. If you get hit by the minecart, you get injured and you get damaged. So there's now a third-party object here that can actually deal damage to us. Of course, if you think about it, that's kind of like the meteors in meteor mode in Showdown, but this is definitely really interesting for Gem Grab. We've never seen anything like this as far as I know, and they can of course block shots too. So I think that's a huge addition to the game. I think that'll give more incentive for people to want to play Gem Grab a little bit more, because it has been a little bit stale. I mean, the jump pads, the launch pads have made things more interesting, but the carts will be an awesome addition. All right guys, I totally forgot to put this in the video, but there is a new part of this update that we cannot miss, and I just had to go back and record for this part of the video because we need to see this update. Y'all, there has been a training ground added into the game, so you can go into any brawler and you can hit try. And when you go into try, it'll take you into this training ground with all of these bots where you can just kind of practice, but in my opinion, it's way more fun to just make up these games inside of the training ground and just see like how much damage you can do or how long you can keep your super going, hopping from bot to bot. But it's just super fun, to be honest. I think it's a really cool feature, and I see a lot of videos coming in the future based off of this update. Some of the bots will shoot back at you, but pretty casually, and you can always just exit and come back in. And new bots will actually respawn in the place of the old bots shortly after. And guys, another cool feature that you get to see is this damage per second meter on the upper right, which is pretty cool. I think they should actually make that like slightly more visible and maybe put another visual there that will let you know just how much damage you're doing. And when you go ahead and launch like Piper's super in the middle of all these bots, you see she does an absolute crazy amount of damage. So let's go ahead and just try one more brawler in that training ground. Of course, guys, in the future there are going to be so many videos and Twitter posts about this training ground. I just see it coming now. Let's try Tara in here, because I've seen a couple tweets where Tara is absolutely hilarious in this mode. So we're gonna go ahead and try to get our super all charged up here. She takes absolutely forever to get her super, but let's go ahead and try that out. And here we go. Let's launch it on all of these guys right here. Let's get it perfectly lined up, and boom. Let's see what it does. It takes them all together and does a ton of damage on them, guys. Let's go ahead and just finish off this last group here. And there it is, 12,000 damage on a whole bunch of bots. That is pretty sweet, and she automatically gets her super charged back up. So that is a pretty fun feature and super cool to take Tara into the training ground. All right, guys, I just wanted to show you that part of the game and show you where to find it. Remember, you can just go into your brawlers and it's on each individual brawler. And that is it for that part of the episode. Enjoy the rest. And in Showdown, it looks like we have launch pads coming to Showdown. Speaking of the launch pads, and we have a couple new maps there, Flying Fantasies and Royal Runways, and I'm excited about some new maps there because I've been having a tough time with quite a few of the maps, but maybe that's more about me than the maps. So those launch pads are coming in. In Brawl Ball, we have something called Center Stage, a new map. In Siege, we got a bunch of new maps. Junk Park Sparring Match, Straight Shot, and Assembly Attack. So I think they're trying to spice it up with Siege here. I think those first maps were good test maps. Now I think we're gonna get a little bit more interesting. All right, moving on quickly because we have to. Boss fight, we get a new map called Danger Zone, so we'll see what happens there. In Showdown, meteors now target grouped players with better logic, and the meteors have explosion radius that is bigger. So this is something and the next point there, healing mushrooms and energy drinks are now more likely to spawn further away from group players. So Supercell is trying to deal with the teaming issue. I think this will help with the teaming issue. I don't think it'll get rid of it, and we'll take a look at something later that I think will show you that it's still well and alive. But guys, yeah, I think this will help. I think this is interesting. I'm glad they're actively trying to do things, deal with it. They can't just make major changes like we talked in the Fresh Bites episode. They can't just make every single major update right away. That could harm the game. So they're playing it smart. And in Siege, we got some updates to Siege that will change kind of the mechanics of how things work a little bit. So bolts will spawn a little closer to the middle. So now they're not so spread out. I think this was interesting how it was kind of splitting the field and things were a little too wide. I can't quite explain why that wasn't good, but I know exactly what they're talking about and why they're putting things toward the middle. I think it just helps kind of brawler interaction a little bit. Frank's stun only works for a split second on the Ike. Guys, I thought this was interesting. Frank's stun works on the Ike, but there's other, take for Pam's healing. Pam's healing, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Pam's healing works on the Ike. So why does Frank's super work on the Ike? Certain supers work, certain supers don't. So I think it should just be all or none. Everybody's super works on the Ike, or everybody's super doesn't work on the Ike. And the Ike no longer creates area damage with its projectile, which is interesting. I mean, the Ike was pretty OP, but I think it should be. I mean, you shouldn't be able to be inside that central arc and get a ton of damage, which you already kind of can with certain brawlers like Colt and other long rangers. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. The Ike projectile now homes to the target, not flying units. I'm not sure what that one's about, but probably a good update. Okay, getting into some other changes, guys. The UI has changed a little bit, so some home screen buttons moved into the menu. So we'll take a look at the menu, we'll take a look at the home screen, and I want to talk about that a little bit and how I think maybe things could get a little bit confusing, or we could, you know, mix things up a little bit here. I think there could be some improvements. Brawl TV, guys. Wow, Brawl TV is a huge addition to the game. I think, you know, Brawl Stars was going out on a limb with adding this so early into the game. There's a lot of potential interesting issues here with Brawl TV, including just really exposing teaming a lot. But, you know, that's maybe not necessarily an issue, and maybe we'll just highlight the fact more that teaming is an issue in Showdown. And, you know, there's a lot of potential kind of things that people would rather see. Like, I've already seen it on Twitter, so many people asking for, well, we want to see this kind of gameplay, we want to see this kind of gameplay. So it kind of goes back and forth there. Ultimately, I think it's amazing. I absolutely love it. It's really cool to hop into these high-level matches and check out how people are playing. Unfortunately, it has been a lot of teaming thus far. So definitely check out Brawl TV, and I'll show you where to find that in just a little bit. Some language changes, and now you can update your name for gems. We already knew this, but now here is the tier. The first name change is actually free, and then it's 60 gems, and then 90, 120, and 150, so it goes up. And I think this is definitely a really good thing, because otherwise people would just be changing their names all the time. So I'm really glad they kind of came up with that tier. Okay, so Golden Week event, new menu background and music. So once this Golden Week event, it's a Japanese holiday, I believe, and so there will be some aesthetic changes there. Some slight improvements in matchmaking, which is of course always great. And just some other interesting small changes here coming into the game. I'm gonna kind of skip over those because we're running out of time. But guys, character sounds and visuals changed. Okay. The biggest one, Carl, audio voiceovers. I haven't listened to it yet. We're gonna have to listen to that. But there's Carl audio voiceovers. Leon has a new attack projectile, which I just played earlier this morning. I didn't notice, but I'm gonna have to take a look at that. We've got some other awesome effects here. Primo's new main attack effect has been changed. And some other skin updates there. We have bug fixes as well. So just some kind of random bug fixes here that, you know, Brawl Stars is doing a great job of cleaning up the game and making sure that these things are fixed. So we have all that coming into the game. I'm not gonna go over every single detail, but look at that massive list, guys. That is absolutely huge. This update is gargantuan. It is game-changing. It's not just Rosa, it's so much more than just skins. This update is huge, and they didn't reveal everything to us that they were going to put into this update. I think that was a great call, because now we see it and it's just absolutely amazing, guys. So that is the coverage of the update for the most part. There are some balance changes that I do want to address, including Crow. Crow is getting that buff that everybody has been asking for. My goodness, have they been asking for a Crow buff, and here it is. So I hope the whole world is using Crow, and I hope they're happy with the buff, because wow, that has been such a requested feature, maybe just behind bringing back Life Leech, and hashtag bring back Life Leech, because I want it back too. And Carl, guys, this is huge. We have to talk about this, guys. Carl has increased his boomerang speed by 25%. I tried him out in the training area, and oh my goodness, he is pretty powerful, guys, and his super duration increased half a second. I don't know if this needed to be done. His super was already super OP. But now his super is a half second longer. Guys, Carl is going to be really sick now, I think. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Absolutely. Moving on, Daryl gets a little health buff. Shelly gets a buff as well with her range and her projectile speed, which is interesting. Not sure she needed that. Piper drops more bombs and does more damage with her super, and Gene gets all sorts of bug fixes and buffs with his super. Most of it has to do with his super, but it seems like a lot of just bug fixes in general. And Pam actually gets the nerf as well. So Crow gets a buff and Pam gets a nerf, a slight nerf. So that might be interesting. I thought we would get one or the other, but we ended up getting that Pam nerf as well. Leon gets a little super nerf as well. And Spike got an update, and so did Poco. But guys, we only have about 1 minute left, and I just got this update on my screen. The April update is here. There's a whole video about it, but you could definitely go watch that. Guys, I just need to talk about this menu system real quick. I could not find Brawl TV for the life of me. I think they should have put it on the main screen here. I'm not sure. But it is, Brawl TV is in the menu system here. Guys, that's gonna be it for now. We have to hurry and end this video, but I'm so thankful you're watching. This is an awesome update. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on Twitter. I'll see you in the next video. Peach out.